Hey guys, happy Friday. Surprise, you're seeing me. Lin has decided to make a video on Omnia, and I guess there's going to be a series about all of the Lio convoy detractors. Is am I thinking that right? Or it's called the Lio convoy files. Hopefully she criticizes Lio just as much as she criticizes us, but we'll see. Um, but they made a video on Omnia, and we're gonna go over this video today in this video. And I will still see you on Sunday, but I wanted to give you just a little Friday surprise, a little Friday delight. Also, tonight I will be on the broadcast. So keep an eye on my Twitter page because I'll link it there if it's a live stream. It might be pre-recorded, but we'll see. I think it might be pre-recorded, but I'll be on the broadcast. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, first off, why do people use that song all the time in intros? It's just like it's an over redundancy. Just my personal opinion, but I'm not gonna knock Lin on this. Sorry, Lin on this. Not gonna knock them on their choice of music. So we'll just continue. Okay. Sorry. I'm just going to skip the intro. Sorry, Lin.
I'm Lin, and I've just about had enough. I know it's been a while since you've seen me last, and that's because I've been taking a break recently. And a good amount of the reason as to why that is would be due to how absolutely fuming I've been about some of the recent happenings in the community these days.
Okay, so they took a break because they're really mad about the recent happening in the ACC. What I'm thinking is the Lio convoy stuff and the Hopeless Peaches stuff. That's why they took a step away. I don't think they really took a break, but that's just my personal opinion.
If you've been around this little corner of the YouTube community in the last couple years or so, then there's a pretty good chance that you've at the very least heard of the names Lio Convoy and Hopeless Peaches, two very notable creators in the space who saw a large amount of influence in their prime. And I have to say in their prime there, because they have both been seeing a wave of criticism come their way around the same time for a range of different reasons. In some respects,
so it's justified with the criticism that they're getting. I don't think Lin is trying to dismiss the criticism, but what I do see is there's a little bit of the minimizing of what they're doing or what happened to them. And what happened to them is primary evidence came out of them being absolutely toxic behind the scenes, and people are wanting Lio as well as Peaches to take accountability, myself included.
Going against each other in the process, but that's a story for another day. Now, given how the different things that these two are seeing criticism for fluctuate.
Also, I'm not going to criticize Lin on the use of their voice changer. I only criticize Doodle Tones for that, but well, I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair by only criticizing Doodle Tones for the voice changer and not Lin. But today I'm feeling charitable, so I don't really care about the voice changer.
Greatly in severity and importance, I decided that it wouldn't really be the best idea to cover it all in one video. Instead, I felt that it would make the most sense to split it up into a few different videos separated by the criticism in question and the main commentator delivering said criticism. And it looks like the first one on the chopping block here is someone that we've talked about.
Okay, chopping block. So Lin is trying to, in this video, and we're going to see it further on because I've already watched the full video, hence why I'm doing the reaction. Lin is trying to appear with or appear objective in the whole entire situation and being unbiased. And their biases do kind of show. And chopping block not is kind of one of those words that is more in favor towards Lio. But that's just my personal opinion. Whatever. If you want to go ahead and use that word, go ahead and use that word. But don't get upset when people criticize you for having a biased opinion.
About before. Although, one thing that I'm gonna have to make clear in this video is that I'm not here simply for the sake of excusing the actions of anyone. Not.
So I think you are. I think you're not being super honest with yourself. But sure, okay, we'll take your word for it for now. We will take your word that you are not going to make excuses for Lio or Peaches. Okay.
Lio, not Peaches, not anyone. All of the above parties have done unacceptable things that I will point towards as we go, but that being said, those actions do not excuse the ones that I am about to criticize either. Two wrongs don't make a right, and that's a two-way street. If you don't realize that, then someone needs to.
I'm so sick and tired of people saying two wrongs don't make a right. Everyone knows this. It is like a fundamental thing of life. You just learn this as you grow up, right? Lots of people abide by those rules, but there are certain people, or not rules, but standards or values. There are certain people in this world that do not abide by those standards or values of two wrongs don't make a right. So you cannot just project it and have word vomit and expect everyone to follow this standard when there are certain people, and we need to acknowledge that there are certain people in this world that do not follow it. So although you are criticizing Omnia and saying two wrongs don't make a right, well, you can't make the assumption that Omnia follows that kind of value or standard. And if she doesn't, you can't set the expectation that she does follow what you say. Just a heads up. Like it's just the same with me. Like when I criticize Lio, I don't expect Lio to follow what I say. I'm not sitting here, I don't know, sitting him down at a table and slapping the table and demanding that he follow what I say. Lio's a grown-ass man. Lio can make his own decisions, but I'm going to sit here and laugh at him. I'm also going to sit here and criticize him when he does stupid things, just as much as you're going to sit there and criticize Omnia or me or anybody else, Lin, when they do stupid things.
Teach you about what nuance is. But before we continue on, if you see value in my coverage today, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to support myself by making the content that I do, so if you want to help in that regard, then you know what to do. It's free for you and it helps a lot for me. But back on topic. Omnia is an art commentator with around 17,000 subscribers and a long history of controversy. Either way, they've decided to throw their hat into the ring with the upload of 2 videos discussing the Rosa Ray Ramsey Senate call. Now, what was that? Well, for some context, at a date I can no longer verify after he removed his online presence.
I'm just going to speed this up. This is going a little bit too slow. Let me speed it up. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay.
A former YouTuber called Techno hosted a live stream with a user called Rosa Ray Ramsey alongside Leigha Convoy. This stream was initially meant to discuss issues that Rosa had with someone called Misanthropony, but that initial discussion went out the window pretty quickly when it came to the attention of everyone else that Rosa had actively acknowledged another user called Crimson Mayhem failing to report a child predator that they had been involved with bringing to justice, and Rosa actively forgave them for that.
Yeah, hang on, let me.
So I like how Rosa was brought into the call under false pretenses on this live stream. That's very telling on Lio's end and Techno's end. Now I'm going to criticize Techno. You should have just stuck to the topic, and the fact that it wasn't stuck to the original topic that Rosa agreed upon, that's hilarious. That's super funny that you would show your cards like this.
Read this. Let me read this. Hang on. Okay, so here's Crimson Mayhem. It says, I was wrong. I did.
Also, Rosa is very dumb for sending out these chat logs that Techno and Lio have. So I don't like that Rosa did this, but Rosa made the decision that they made, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Lied about Miss Anthroponi threatening me a month ago. It was my fault for bailing out a serious situation regarding bringing a file to justice. I ain't playing victim anymore. Leo had every right to call me out. Wait a minute. Glad you admit your wrongdoings, and for that I forgive. What?
What?
Rosa. Wait, what? Okay. Oh my goodness. So this guy is
What?
admitting he could have brought a file to justice, and you're saying, "Oh, you admit your wrongdoings. I forgive you." Do you not know what took really? Oh my God. Oh my God. I need a minute. Hang on.
When did I say that?
You said that the day he put that thread out.
I didn't know that.
It was literally in the topic. It's literally in the initial tweet where he admits that he failed to report a child predator. How did you not know when you read the tweet and responded directly to it?
And things got worse from
Okay, really? You're just gonna ignore what Lio said right there?
there when it came out that Rosa had knowledge of a predator being in a server owned by Rebecca Starlight that they were a moderator in, and they did nothing for what they at first claimed to be 4 days.
It wasn't long before we eventually discovered what Nekapon was doing.
Okay, what you are failing to acknowledge, Lin, is that although Rosa was a mod, she couldn't kick out Nekopon because Nekopon was also a mod. She did not have the roles to kick out Nekopon. So you factually failed on that end, but okay.
Was wrong, and then eventually we kicked her out.
Eventually. You eventually kicked her out. How long between finding out the information and removing her was it?
Well, let's just say.
Stop. Oh my God. Can you start
Well,
a sentence without saying, let's just say, I'm going to
eventually-
lose it on you? I'm going to lose it on you. How?
Literally, this makes me feel uncomfortable that Lio acts this way, but we've already criticized Lio, so I'm just going to move on. But just have it noted, I do not like the way Lio is talking to Rosa, but for the sake of time, we are moving on.
Long. Give me days, hours, weeks. What is it?
I'm gonna say like.
And this is, just to further note, I'm attempting to move on. To further note, Lio would like us to believe that the Rosa Ray Ramsey call was the one time he had his slip up, the one time he was inappropriate with Rosa. This is clear primary evidence that he was inappropriate with Rosa on 3 occasions. On the Techno live stream, 1, and his live stream, 2, and the Rosa Ray Ramsey Senate call, 3. So this is where I don't believe Lio is able to change or adjust his behavior, because he has already proven to me via primary evidence that he has done this on 3 separate occasions. And now I guarantee you Lin is not going to acknowledge this, but let's see. Let's see.
I lost track. It's been like a long.
Was it days?
Probably.
It took you
But-
days to remove a child predator when you knew
I
what they
think
did.
it was
It
like.
took you days?
Probably.
Days? It should have taken you
Probably,
5
like, 4
goddamn
days.
seconds!
Keep in mind, it would eventually come to Lio's attention that instead of 4 days, that predator remained in the server for 8 months, which would prompt Lio to confront Rosa once
So this is another second occurrence.
again on his own stream on the 10th of January 2023. Either way, that would then extend into an additional call in the Senate, a Discord server Lio owns, on the 31st of January. And that is the call in question that is the most important for our purposes today. The reason
No. And it's in question, important to you when criticizing Omnia, but you are completely dismissing the 3 occurrences that you have just acknowledged right here. You've just said the 3 instances where Lio has had a confrontation with Rosa Ray Ramsey, but you also completely dismiss it while criticizing Omnia. So it's kind of like you are no better than Omnia, Lin.
reason for that being because Omnia released a 3-hour-long 2-part video going over the call itself. Something that I definitely think isn't out of the question to do on paper, because one thing that I hope we can all agree on would be the fact that the absolutely rampant ableism, fat phobia, and general verbal harassment featured in this call was nothing short of unacceptable.
So why is the call unacceptable, but the 2 live streams where Lio is speaking inappropriately to Rosa is okay. So we are actively ignoring evidence by Linlin right now, via Linlin. Linlin is ignoring evidence. I like the acknowledgement of the 3 occasions that Lio talked to Rosa. All 3 are very inappropriate, but we're just going to focus on the call and just completely dismiss what Lio did, what I showed in this video just now. Okay. Right. Sure. We will still be charitable towards you, Lin. This is hiccup number 1 that I have with this video.
Like, unacceptable to the degree that if you want to see it for yourself, I'm just gonna have to point you towards the call itself linked in the description, because I really cannot use too many clips of it with enough confidence that it wouldn't result in my video getting flagged for hate speech. Like, it's that bad. Despite this, Omnia's video personally annoys me quite a bit, partially due to these sporadic moments of Omnia just being passive-aggressive and or immature in some needlessly catty way that contributes nothing of value to the conversation.
Okay, I'm gonna be a bitch for the rest of the fucking call. No, but like in all seriousness, you'll see what I mean. If you have not watched this call yet, trust me, you're gonna understand what I mean in a second. Girly pop, if you want to be Regina George so bad, you want to be a mean girl so bad, could you at least be eloquent? I don't think you have the vernacular you think you possess. If you're gonna be a mean girl, at least say your fucking line without stuttering, okay?
I just wanted to have was an LGBT.
So just an FYI, I don't see any problem with what Omnia said about Peaches right there. That is like straight up opinion, and Omnia is just being straight up catty with Peaches in return. So I have no issue with that. You know, just as much as Peaches was more than happy to be a bitch in these calls, or a dick in these calls, you know, Omnia can give the same energy right back.
BT friend.
Oh, they're LGBT. So they have to be collected like a Pokemon card, right? That's what
No.
you use your little LGBT friends as shields.
No.
Continue.
It's just that I've never had any friends that are LGBT.
So not only do you harbor predators knowingly, you also fetishize people in the LGBT. That's pretty cool. I'm bisexual.
I like the jump that Peaches makes in that little part of this video, or in this clip of Omnia's video, but whatever. We're moving on.
Cool. Do you want to become my friend? Because I would rather see you stick your hand in a blender, personally.
You think I won't? Okay. Watch. I got the magic bullet. The fuck? You think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? Okay.
Lillian, this is a bit if you do not understand this. This is clearly a bit. Do you really think Omnia stuck their hand in the blender?
I honestly feel like anyone would rather stick their hand in a blender than be your friend Peaches, to be honest.
I don't disagree with that.
And also, see for the situation from now on, don't even have opinions if you're biased. I mean, for fuck's sake, you're literally the biased motherfucker I ever seen. If I ever see you have an opinion, I swear to God, everybody in the server is going to fucking smite you.
What? You can't be serious. If you ever have an opinion, I swear to God, the whole Senate server, they gonna smite you.
Oh yeah, because the idiot out here who knows that this is a serious situation and yet prompts the text on screen with fart noises and begins the video by doing this.
Today, we are going to go through the Rosa Ray Ramsey call. I already did all the clips for this. I already watched this whole thing. And basically, how this is going to work is I'm going to go through each clip and just play it as is. If there's
I literally, why? Like, who cares? Why? Who cares if they used a fart sound? Who cares?
anything that I want to say or commentate.
Imagine like morally grandstanding over the fart noise of a video. Like, couldn't be me. Could not be me.
On in between clips, you'll see this here. Otherwise, you'll just see what I have written on the screen, what I have transcribed, and yeah, this call is the worst. So, cheers. We're gonna fucking pop a shot. It's a pink cup. Cheers. Let's go.
Yeah, this is the one that we're going to listen to when we tell other people that they are unserious, is it? Something that is pretty ridiculous when you take into account how...
Okay, so Lin, you don't have to listen. You don't have to listen to Omnia. Like, you don't have to heed her words. She's not telling everybody else on the internet how to react or respond to things. Omnia is not like the rule setter of YouTube, okay? Omnia is just making content out of this. And if you don't realize that Omnia isn't making is making content out of this, I don't know what to tell you. It seems like you're kind of taking her a little bit too seriously. But we'll continue.
Omnia's thumbnails refer to Peaches and Lio as an ableist bully and a cruel abuser, respectively.
I don't disagree with that. There's literally primary evidence out there of them being shitheads. Like, okay. Like, why? Why are we morally grandstanding over thumbnails? What is this?
Speaking as somebody on the spectrum here, I'm pretty sure that we can live without people like you performatively pretending to speak up for us in a situation that you acknowledge as an abusive one, only to be handling said situation with all the tact of an Anna Oop video while
So your argument right here can be applied to you as well. I don't think you're the arbiter of autistic people or people with disabilities or people with mental handicaps. So like you don't have to speak for everyone either. Like, it's the same argument can literally be applied to you. What is this? This is like this is wishy-washy arguments. This is horrible.
Pretending that you have some sort of moral high ground on that exact thing.
Nobody has a moral high ground. No one has a moral high ground. I'm telling you. Nobody has a moral high ground. Everyone is a dickhead in my eyes. I'm even the dickhead, okay? You're a dickhead. Lin. You're a dickhead. I'm a dickhead. Omnia is a dickhead. Lio's a dickhead. Peaches is a dickhead. We're all dickheads, okay? Dickheads in the comment section, please.
Can't exactly be complaining at other people for being...
Actually, don't comment that because I might not get monetized.
Unserious when you are the one here acting like a 10-year-old. Express some self-awareness, please.
Another part of this call that I contend with personally is the way that Endo is kind of misplacing their upset towards Nekopon or towards Star Giant or towards any other person who might have allowed or been complacent with their in relation to Nekopon onto Rosa. And I feel like that's the thing that I kind of feel hesitant about Endo, in that I understand that they couldn't get Star Giant in the call. I understand they couldn't get Nekopon in the call. That doesn't mean that you can just unfettered get angry as you would with Nekopon or with Star Giant to Rosa just because she is the least common denominator and the person that you managed to get into the Senate. I think that that is where I start to feel like, you know, like the justice is not being met. And I think this is like a personal tangent, something that I feel like I've come to the realization of, is that closure doesn't come from the people who harmed you. You can't go out of your way and wait for someone who harmed you to help you. The person who harmed you is never going to heal you. And that's me. That's my opinion. I'm not going to go towards my abuser and be like, why the fuck did you do that? Why aren't you saying sorry to me? You should have done better. You shouldn't have done that to me. It's like, if you're willing to do that to me to begin with, what makes me think that you're going to do anything to help me through it or heal from it? And I think that that's like a hard realization that Endo might need to come to on their own. And like, obviously that's not.
So I don't disagree with this take. Although this take is said in Omnia's opinion, I don't disagree with it. I even had the same take, but I didn't direct it. The difference between her take and my take is I didn't direct it towards Endo specifically. I'm not going to speak for Endo. I don't know Endo. I don't owe Endo anything. I don't know Endo, so I'm not going to directly speak for or to Endo. I'm going to speak in general. In general, those people took their anger out on Rosa because they couldn't take their anger out on Nekopon or Star Giant, okay?
Not my place to say, but from my own experience, I've realized that I can't heal from the person who harmed me by the person who harmed me. The person who harmed me is not going to be the one who heals me. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
I don't really have all too much to say to that beyond the fact that Endo, as the victim in question here, is the person who has the right to decide how to handle their emotions about how they were preyed upon and how people were complicit in said predator having access to minors. And no, you saying that, I know I don't have the right to say that, doesn't magically take away from the fact that you just said it. If you're going to
oh my God, we're not going to do this. So we just can't say our opinions out loud, Lin. Is that what it is? Like, you're more than happy to stand on your platform and go ahead and make a video about Omnia, and we're supposed to respect your opinion, right? We're supposed to be respectful of your videos, but you can't do the same in return? It's almost like two wrongs don't make a right, Lin. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's almost like you're being hypocritical in your own video. Interesting.
Pretend that you, as a completely unrelated party, are able to know what the best way forward for Endo would be. At the very least, do so with enough confidence as to not immediately highlight the problem with you doing so, as if it's—
You are looking you are overanalyzing a simple opinion that was said by Omnia on Omnia's channel. Omnia has the freedom to say whatever they want to say, just like you have the freedom to say whatever you want to say, and I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say, or Lio has the freedom to say whatever they want to say, or Peaches. We all have platforms. We can all say our opinions. I get the criticism, but your argument right here does not make sense and can be applied right back to you. It's not a really strong argument to have.
some sort of get-out-of-jail-free card. Speaking of Endo, though, something that I would like to draw your attention to would be a DM conversation that Omnia had with Endo on the 11th of March, which is, for frame of reference, 3 days before the first part of Omnia's video was released. I'll play the full DM conversation now.
Well, I would like to discuss some stuff like...
Why? 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 Literally, why? Whatever. False accuser, by the way. Let's listen to what the DMs say.
Details, info, and questions for you, Romania, for the Rosa call. I'm Endo, and I was one of the victims to the Necopon situation that connects to the Rosa call that was in Senate. Romania was an error, didn't mean to type that. I think there's some stuff we need to clear up before you make that video, so you don't give out misinformation, since there were some things you've gotten wrong and possibly might get wrong if not corrected now, are not. I know a lot about Senate and what was going down because Senate was supposed to help me in my case that connects to the Rosa call. Also, if you want to ask questions, that's also fine.
Hey Endo, I was actually considering—
I also like how Endo just completely leaks all of Omnia's DMs. That's hilarious. Guys, FYI, don't ever DM anything to Endo because they will leak their DMs.
reaching out to you, but to be honest, I was hesitant for personal reasons. That aside, thanks for taking the initiative to reach out instead. I don't know what you were expecting to see or hear in my video, but I'm curious about whatever misinformation you want to ensure I dispel before I get into any details, I guess. So what is it that you wanted to talk about / make sure I get right in my video? I also hope that you and the other victims of Necopon are doing okay and have been healing since.
Thank you, and I appreciate your worry for me and the victims. I also want to give you some info about the call as well, so you have a proper explanation of the entire call's purpose, so people don't bring up that you're missing context and things. Also, if you can, I would appreciate you keeping where you hear any of this information anonymous, because I'm kind of scared of Senate as someone who was one of the rare people who saw things others didn't. When I heard about the Peaches thing, I left because it goes against my grooming.
This just tells me that Endo is willing to go on either side and play both sides. Endo, to me, kind of comes off as a character that's not completely honest and that is kind of deceitful. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I just don't want them after me and hurting my case.
Your secrets are safe with me. I don't associate with any of those people, and I have no desire to hurt you in any way, of course. So what's up? What's the context?
Thank you so much. Here's some context to that call. Some of the mods in Lio knew I wanted to talk to Rosa because Rosa knew about Neko and was told what she had done, but the Senate never told me that they got Rosa in a call, which was a really bad call until I found out by someone in that server that they got Rosa in a call, so no one involved me. Plus, there has been misinformation being spread around a lot by YouTubers, including yourself, that Rosa wasn't a mod in that server that had minors groomed, even though they were a mod and there's evidence to prove so. It hurts that people just believe Rosa when they say that they weren't a mod when they were, which makes them look better because it gives them a bit of an out for the situation. All I wanted was answers from Rosa and to feel some closure. The Rosa call wasn't made by Leigha Convoy. It was made by a user named Blue that used to be Box of Fox, and they were not—
Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who the call or who made the call. Just an FYI, Endo. Doesn't matter. It took place in the Senate. The Senate was under Leigha's ownership. Lio himself even acknowledges anything that happens in the Senate was on him because that was his Discord.
Not a mod at the time. I wasn't even aware of the Rosa call even happening because I was going to deactivate my Discord once I cut people off and leave, but the Senate stated that Rosa was going to join the call to state how Zaid is bad for disliking Star Wars. TLDR, the information of the Necopon stuff was fresh because it was from Techno's stream, when Leigha was given the information that Rosa knew of Necopon and was a mod at the time. The call wasn't handled properly. I thought I was going to say my piece and leave and never come back after it, but I was given hope after the call that someone will handle it. Rosa was in fact a mod and ignored what happened. The reason I got irritated with Rosa was how she stated about poor kids about someone tweeting Star Wars when she failed me and my friends along with Star Giant. Harley behind the scenes did consult me during and after the call and tried to calm me down during the call so I wouldn't be thinking everyone was fighting because I felt like people were, and which did cause me to have a mental breakdown. The call.
Okay, Endo having a mental breakdown during the call is very telling on Lio's end because it took place in his Discord. It's very telling on Blue's end because Blue initiated the call, since we're gonna like go by Linlin standards, or Endo's standards. I think it's like super hilarious that the said victim of Star Giant, had a breakdown in the call because people were fighting. That's very telling. So now it's not only Rosa that's hurt from the call, but it's also Linlin. Or no, it's also Endo. It's almost like those calls shouldn't take place. It's almost like the live streams beforehand shouldn't have taken place. But no one's going to listen. You guys are still going to continue this bullshit. Lio's still going to be the dickhead that he is, and nothing's going to change.
All was handled so badly, and I don't blame Ponder and Harley or anyone who jumped in to call out bad stuff, but I don't like that others are cutting context about Rosa and only defending them without bringing up the stuff they also did, or even not bringing up what she did at all. I've also seen that people cut off my part of the call of my crying and confronting Rosa, and only using the parts when Senate was being jerks. It makes me feel like people don't care for the victims and only care to dunk on Senate. People can talk.
Okay, it's not that people don't care for the victims, Endo. It's that it's inappropriate to go over your call or to go over the portion of the call because you were crying and because you are a victim. That's why. That's why I did not go over it. I did not feel comfortable going over it. I did not like it. That's why I skipped it. I felt like Endo being in that call was not appropriate. But Lio and company didn't listen, and they still put you in that call.
Talk about how Senate suck the way they handle the Rosa call, but at the same time, we should be able to not give Rosa an out because she lied about not being a mod, and also that because she was disabled, she is unable to call out the Neko stuff, even though she has proven to defend her friends from allegedly being creepy to someone else. There's a lot more to this than you know, which is why I'm concerned about you and others touching this, since it's not as black and white as people think.
Okay, I'll send my thoughts in a second, just texting you now to let you know that I received it.
Of course, take your time.
Okay, I read it over again really closely. This is great that you shared this with me, thank you. Of course, also please keep the things I'll be sharing with you between the two of us, since I don't want anyone knowing exactly what my video entails or what I'm talking about. But about the Rosa not being a mod, she lied in that part of the call.
Omnia, I'm going to tell you, those DMs did not remain between you and Endo, FYI.
You're saying? Do you have any...
Because I am witnessing these DMs in a Linlin video. That's telling.
Screenshots or proof that shows she was a mod? And if you do have that, do you have any screenshots or proof of what permissions she had as a moderator in Rebecca's server? I just want to have proof of everything I say.
Won't worry, all I want is to clear up stuff. I got a screenshot to prove that Rebecca gave Rosa a mod, and once I come back from Germany, I will make sure to give you even more screenshots. And to prove the deleted user is Rebecca, here's another screenshot of conversation between Rosa and Rebecca of Rosa defending Rebecca. These screenshots are to prove that's Rebecca. Though I just realized you wouldn't know the context of the whole situation with Lena for you to know that this would be Rebecca, so once I come back from Germany, I'll make sure to give you so much more evidence. I mean, I could get more proof early, but the problem is that one of the people from Senate who was helping me on this case told me I'm not allowed to share my evidence with people until Leigha made a video on it.
That's very interesting. I mean, I could get more proof early, but the problem is that one of the people from Senate who was helping me on this case told me I am not allowed to share my evidence with people until Leigha made a video on it, which makes me mad. Very interesting right there. I like how this part is not omitted from Linlin's video, because this tells me that Lio and company are more than happy to hold on to evidence to push out their narrative, but don't want other creators pushing out the same kind of evidence to further back up claims that happen with Endo. It's hilarious. Super hilarious.
Which makes me mad. I don't even want Lio on my stuff anymore.
Yeah, I think that's f***ed up. It's your experience. What are you waiting for? The fuck? Sorry. I just hate Lio personally, but I do believe you. There was a mention about Lovely Lena in the call, and how Rebecca was at odds with her. I listened to the whole VC like several times, so while I may not know the exact details of why they are at odds with one another, this all tracks to what was said in the VC. So I believe you. I don't need further proof that the deleted user is Rebecca. Can I ask Rosa if she was a mod? She is also in contact with me, and I want to know what she will say, and if she can be forthcoming about it.
Yeah, go ahead. And I understand why you don't like Lio and Peaches. Ugh, Peaches.
Okay, because I wanted to make sure if you
Like, this just proves to me that Endo was more than happy to play both sides. Because I guarantee you, Endo was going to Peaches or Lio and company and being like, ugh, oh my god, Omnia is horrible.
you were comfortable with it. Peaches f***ing sucks. But I'm sorry, this isn't about my beef with these people. Didn't your situation happen a year ago? This Rosa call happened in January 2023. How come you're not allowed to release your evidence if it's been a year?
Omnia, I came to Senate a year ago and I asked for help, and ever since then, this video has been taking forever for them to release. And once again, this is between us, but only one member was actually helping.
This is between us, but you leaked the conversation to Linlin. So it didn't stay between y'all. I think that's super hilarious. Endo, if I were Omnia, I'd be really pissed off at you. I'd be like, what the fuck? I honored my promise. You asked me to keep this conversation between the both of us. And you then, in return, leaked the DMs to Linlin. What the fuck?
I wanted the video to be out so much sooner. Lio didn't want me to release anything, and that the video shall be where we release everything. So the whole time I've had people come to me saying I'm a liar and that I have no proof, even though I have it. I have so much, but I can't do anything. I've had so many breakdowns, and I had so many times where I wanted to give up. Had people tell me I'm a liar, that Neko didn't harm anybody, but there were so many victims and horrible things.
I'm sorry.
Nobody is saying Endo is a liar, so I don't know where they are getting that idea that Neko never groomed them, okay? I've never said that. Unless you, Endo, have made a video saying something, because I was told in chat that you admitted something. I was told last Sunday that you admitted something, that you weren't groomed. So that's interesting that you're saying this in this conversation with Omnia.
Sorry, Endo, I believe you. Well, I want to let you know that the way they're treating your situation is f***ed, and I hope you know that I know that. I also want to let you know that my video is kind of like a nuanced approach where it's not like doubting your experience. I fully assumed you were telling the truth about your experiences with Nekopan. I think it's like a
So Omnia is giving them the charitability.
Combination of acknowledging that you were victimized by Nekopan and Rosa was victimized by the Senate within the call. I don't think Rosa is a completely innocent party, but I don't think she was given a fair chance to explain things in the Rosa call last year.
You see, that's all I want. The idea that what happened to Rosa was not okay, but also the fact that she's not innocent either can coexist, and I just want people to actually say that instead of just defending.
People are actually saying that. What are you on about? Literally, people are saying that. I told Queen Serafina in private. I've told them this because Queen has said, I don't like Rosa. And I've told Queen, that is okay. You don't have to like Rosa. People don't have to like Rosa. They can be criticized, or they can criticize Rosa. They're more than welcome to. You don't have to be friends with Rosa. Nobody is forcing you to be friends with Rosa. No one is forcing anyone to be friends with Rosa. I don't know. I do not understand why people are saying just because Lio is getting criticized, this means Rosa is in the clear. No, Rosa is not in the clear. Everyone knows that. I'm so sick and tired of people saying, oh my God, people are criticizing Rosa, or people are criticizing Lio. That means Rosa is completely innocent. No, that is simpleton thinking. No one is thinking that. I really would I really would appreciate it if people stopped believing that, because it's not true.
Her blindly, but also for people to not act like the call wasn't bad when it was. If you can, all I want is for you to give a little bit of context with Rosa and just clear up the fact that she was a mod. It doesn't have to be something long at all, just enough where people don't blindly believe she had nothing to do with the Neko stuff.
And that's about as much of the conversation.
So everyone knew she was a mod. I even said it in my live stream that she is a mod. Everyone knows she is a mod.
As is needed to understand what we will be talking about today. They did continue on for a bit, but it didn't really bring anything new to the table that adds to what we've already read. You can pause to...
So, like, the entire DMs were leaked to Linlin. Are you serious?
Read these DMs if you wish to, but the ones we have been over are enough to make the point that I'm going to make anyway, so let's proceed. Now, to be clear, one thing that this conversation
On Sunday, we will be reading those DMs.
Does not prove is what permissions that mods of Star Giant's server had. However, what it does prove is that despite Rosa incorrectly claiming in the call that they had not been a moderator, Omnia knew for a fact, based upon evidence that they had been given before their video was released, that Rosa was a moderator. And yet, when they are outlining context at the start of part 1, they act as if this is an undetermined factor.
In this particular VC...
Linlin, do you not realize that parts of the video could have possibly been made before Omnia had the conversation with Endo? Do you not realize that? Everyone knew Rosa was a mod. This smoking gun evidence that you have against Omnia is literally a nothing burger. It's an irrelevancy. Yes, everyone understands that Rosa was a mod, okay? And does that excuse the fact that Lio yelled at Rosa for no apparent reason on 3 occasions? No. Okay, it's an irrelevancy. I don't care.
Leo, Peaches, and other members of the Senate server are confronting a woman by the name of Rosa Ray Ramsey. Rosa was brought into the Senate server for a confrontation because she claimed to be friends with another YouTuber by the name of Rebecca Starlight, or Star Giant Productions. Rebecca, or more commonly referred to in the call as Star Giant, had a Discord server of her own where she had many controversies. One of these controversies revolves around her former artist, Nekopon. Nekopon is a known predator and gamer who manipulated children in Discord servers, including someone by the name of Endo. Nekopon hurt minors for years on end and remained in Star Giant's server for at least 8 months. During that time, Nekopon had the ability to grow more children in Star Giant's server, much like they did to Endo. Star Giant knew about this information and did nothing about it, stating that the evidence that existed wasn't substantial and that because Nekopon wasn't found guilty of anything in a court of law, that it wasn't a big enough deal. And of course, that is a major problem that these self-reported predator hunters want to prevent at all costs. Now, you might be wondering, why confront Rosa then? Why didn't Hopeless Peaches, Leo Convoy, and all the others who are in this call confront Nekopon herself? She's the predator after all, therefore she committed the most harm in the situation. Or maybe
honestly, nobody would have had an issue. You wouldn't see me criticizing Lio today had he gone after Nekopon. I would have no problem with Lio yelling at a predator. Would have no problem. But no, they had to yell at Rosa.
maybe you're thinking, let's just say that they can't get a hold of Nekopon herself. Why didn't they confront Star Giant, the server owner, instead of Rosa? The server owner is the one who is almost solely responsible for those who are allowed in their server and what goes on in their server after all. So why Rosa? The answer to that is honestly really bizarre. Rosa was alleged to be a moderator in Star Giant's server.
Alleged. There you go.
Though the details about what permissions she had in that role is largely unclear. Sources I've seen state that she was a mod, but Rosa claims within this call that she wasn't.
So, like, Lin, this is the clarification. I don't have issues with what Omnia is saying. Omnia is saying is that there is a possibility that Rosa was a mod. She's acknowledging what Endo said to her privately. What is this? Like, this is like the worst argument ever.
One. There are some limitations to Rosa's claim, however, because of details I am about to talk about in this next point. Regardless of whether she had mod status or not, one thing is pretty clear. Rosa is not fit to be one.
Omnia knew for a fact that Rosa was a moderator in this server.
Yes, Omnia acknowledged it, Lin. Do you not understand? I don't think you understand what Omnia just said just now. I think what you're doing is you're trying to inflate something that is minuscule, a minuscule detail, into like a giant catch-all with Omnia. Omnia literally just said mod and acknowledged what Endo said to Omnia in private in her video.
So adding that extra layer of ambiguity to the situation is at best a careless mistake and at worst a dishonest one. And I have a...
It's not dishonest or careless. Literally, your argument is weak right here. You are trying to grasp at something that is not there to grasp at. You're trying to grasp at an argument that is not there to grasp. And this kind of shows a biased opinion on your end. I think this is super hilarious that you would put this in this video. Omnia just said, literally, I just witnessed it in your video, Lin. Omnia just said it is a possibility that Rosa was a mod in the Star Giant server. She said that. What's the issue? It's not dishonest. It's also acknowledging what Endo said to her privately. Endo may have not been satisfied with it, and I'm theory crafting right here. This is my speculation right here. I think what happened was Endo got pissed off because Omnia didn't say, Endo told me, again, this is speculation, that Endo told me that Rosa was a mod in the Discord, and then went and took their chats with Omnia to you and Leigha and Company, for you and Leigha and Company to leak. This ain't it, girl. This is not it, Lin.
Hard time believing that this is anything beyond an attempt to downplay Rosa's actions to increase...
It's not downplaying Rosa's actions. No, literally no one is downplaying Rosa's actions. We are focused on Leigha because Leigha is the grown adult in this situation. He's a grown adult in this situation. He knows better. That's why we're criticizing Leigha. If you want to make a video criticizing Rosa, by all means, go ahead and make a fucking video.
How bad the Senate's reaction to them looks. And the stupid thing about this is that you don't need to do that. Regardless of what Rosa had done, the bigoted rhetoric used against her is unacceptable. Two wrongs don't make a right.
You say the bigoted rhetoric was bad, right? It's not acceptable, but you're more than happy to dismiss the two occasions that Leigha had with Rosa prior to the call. You're willing to dismiss primary evidence of Leigha being a jerk-off to Rosa. And then sit here and criticize Omnia for her actions. Literally, Lin, you are no better than Omnia. You're no better. You're in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. So don't fucking sit here and say that you are... oh my God, Omnia is on her moral high ground while you are doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. So how about you practice what you preach?
So you don't need to be out here downplaying the amount of power that Rosa had just to make everyone else look worse. Especially given how they had been provided with the evidence to the contrary that they make no direct acknowledgement of, beyond claiming that they have seen sources stating she was a mod, when the reality is a lot more damning than that. Omnia, in this situation, you first listened to the call, transcribed a majority of it on screen while adding your own comments on screen at points, watched those clips to then record your React Andy content, and added your own editor's notes and intro context to the video after the fact.
I think that's super funny that they just add React Andy. It clearly shows that there's a biased opinion, clearly.
And yet, you didn't take the 2 seconds it would have taken you to make the adequate disclaimer to make a more correct note of something that you had full knowledge of and claimed in the DMs you believed yourself. Furthermore, with how Discord server mods having the ability to ban or kick people is incredibly commonplace, I have a bit of a hard time believing that it wasn't the case for Rosa. Sure, there's nothing to concretely back it up beyond the thinnest shadow of a doubt, I guess, but let's use our common sense here for a second. If a Discord moderator doesn't have the ability to enforce server rules under penalty of removing people from the server, then there is no point in a Discord moderator in the first place. What is really the point of a rule enforcer if said rule enforcer doesn't have the tools needed to enforce any rules? That's just silly, and the most this serves to do is muddy the waters of the situation beyond what is necessary. And just as an aside, in the case of Leigha himself, he had already addressed this situation in his video concerning Cobra Commander.
He cited something else as an excuse to not get in call with me. and that would be the final.
I like this part right here because Lin outlines a lie that Lio said right here. Let's continue because what Lio specifically says right here is a lie and is not true. But yeah, we'll continue.
Final call I had with Rosa Ray Ramsey. This is a call that happened over a year ago and is only being brought up now because of freaks and dishonest actors, one of which just admitted that they did so for money.
I've already said my comments in regards to this comment. Omnia is clearly joking right here. Omnia is clearly joking. This is like a thing, a running thing in the commentary community, is when a person doesn't make a video for a while, the chat always jokes around and says, oh, rent is due. That's why you're making the video. We do it with Augie RFC all the time. This is a joke. And the fact that Lio took this joke seriously is very hilarious. This tells you he has no idea what to do when it comes to communication. And he is the world's most gullible person in the world. And he has an army of losers following along with him because he doesn't understand communication.
So here's the long and short of it, and it was addressed in full last year. The way that call devolved and the ableist, awful things I said and allowed was not okay.
You are missing the 2 instances of live streams beforehand that Lin knows about. You're dismissing those. Those are also primary evidence of Lio being abusive, being a cyberbully.
It was not acceptable. It was wrong, and I apologize for that.
Not good enough. You clearly, in your response video, doubled down. Oh my God, I'm getting off on a tangent. Well, let's just continue.
I was in control of that room and that call at the time, so the responsibility is mine. The day after that call, Rosa was sent direct apologies, and the entire way we run calls was completely restructured. Such as the fact that the audience has no ability of their own to jump into a call, and any mockery of people over things they can't control are condemned and punished. Their purpose is to be as productive as possible. Longtime listeners will notice that the unpleasant language I used to have to censor out no longer exists in the past year's videos. That's because I worked to remove it from my lexicon. It takes time, as anything you've been doing for 3 decades may, but they're not words I've been using any further. Ponder herself called out that behavior directly in that call. She's still in Senate. There's a reason for that. Because change can happen. And has.
If you're coming into this situation to hold someone accountable for something that they have already taken accountability.
I was going to say that there was a lie in there. Never mind. There's no lie. I disavow myself and disregard what I say.
At the
I was wrong.
very least acknowledge that he has already recognized the problem and is working to fix it. Just as Lio
He's not working to fix it.
didn't need to like Rosa to not treat her how he and most of the other speakers in that call did, you don't need to like Lio in order to do that basic courtesy. All of you people who want to discuss the
Lin, the world does not owe you basic courtesy. Just an FYI. Lio knows that. Everyone in this world knows that. You should know it too. Basic courtesy sometimes does not happen at all. And then that's when you get criticized.
topic of
the entitlement from Lin is just absolutely insane.
This Senate call, remember to do so while making mention of this. Without doing so, you end up framing the situation as Lio doing what he did without any sort of realization in the present day that what he did was wrong, when that simply isn't the truth. And given how someone is
I don't care how much he realizes what he did is wrong, he still doubled down, Lin. In his response video, did you not watch it? He doubled down. He apologized, but then also said all the horrible things that Rosa did. An apology means I will never do it again, and he did it again. Literally. In his response video.
Isn't expected to comb through every single video that Lio has ever made to look for things like this. It's not like this is directly Omnia's fault for missing it, if that was unintentional, hence why I'm not making this statement as a means of holding it against Omnia directly, but it is still an important factor to keep in mind when coming to your own conclusion on whether Lio should be given the space to grow in the future. Apologies for—
Lio shouldn't be given the space to grow in the future because Lio is 38 years old. He should already have grown. He should already know these things. Lio, as of last week, still finds justification for doxing people based on not credible threats. Lio is more than willing to argue with an attorney so he can try and be proved correct, or so he can be right in this situation. Lio has no issue not putting aside his pride and being humble. Lio has the inability to be humble. He can't humble himself.
How abruptly I made this.
I'm so sick and tired of people saying, "Oh, well, you got to give Lio a chance. You got to give Lio a chance." No, Lio's chances are already out the window. He already didn't know what to do when it came to predator hunting. He doesn't know how to talk to people. So it's like you had years worth of chances, and now is the line today. The line is drawn in the sand. Your time is up. Your chance was the first chance. That first chance was the only chance, and you blew it. You screwed the pooch on that one.
This point in the video, this was about as good of a place as I could find to slot it in. If there is one thing that I would want you all to take away from this video, it's this. I completely agree with the general sentiment of Omnia's video about how those in the call fumbled it. I just wish more care was taken when discussing a situation that they actively acknowledged to be an absolutely horrible mess.
More care was taken, okay? More care was taken. The only not care or don't care that I don't see on your, or that I do see on y'all's end, is y'all not caring about the FCK server. I've yet to see any kind of content come from Lio's side of the woods or Lio and company regarding the FCK server. The only content that I have seen is from Doodle Tones, and Doodle Tones says, "Oh my God, guys, there's nuance when it comes to the FCK server." No. There is absolutely no nuance when it comes to people having predatory behaviors on the internet, especially when their name is Toasty Vanilla and Miss ZZ.
You see fit to provide criticism of the Rosa call, then you are more than welcome to do so. Just make sure that all is done in good faith by putting in the effort and doing so tactfully. When there is a situation like this one with victims involved, you can't be dealing with it as poorly as I believe Omnia has. When handling a situation of this magnitude,
I think it's super hilarious that they say poorly. I do not think Omnia did anything poorly. Linlin, you're kind of being dramatic here.
You certainly can't be here.
You're kind of being dramatic, and your biased opinion is showing.
Posting content about how people in this call are bad for approaching the conversation in just as bad of a way as you are doing yourself as you criticize them for it. As no matter how you feel about the parties involved, the last thing that a situation like this calls for is for people to get involved in it with bad faith for the sake of a paycheck. Cough, cough. It is important.
The fact that you took that joke seriously is very telling on your end. That shows not only are you willing to also ignore the blatant joke that Omnia made. Omnia was clearly not being serious in that comment, but the fact that you took it seriously and the fact that you actually think she only put out that content to make money is like super hilarious. Everyone on YouTube is putting out content to make money. So the fact that you're trying to use it as an argument against Omnia, Linlin, is very telling on your end, because you are doing the same thing, the exact same thing. So the same principle could be applied to you as well. But you're not willing to acknowledge that. You're just willing to acknowledge Omnia's end.
That the people in this call who made the mistakes they did are held accountable for them. My concern, however, is that I can't trust the person doing so when it's pretty apparent, at least to me, that they don't really care. And with
You can't say they don't care. You don't know the intention of Omnia. You cannot speak for Omnia and say that they don't care. Because I guarantee you, Omnia cares. And it's shown. So fuck you, Linlin. You suck.